All right. Thank you for tuning in. I'm just gonna start doing all of these on my computer. That's what I'm recording on right now. Um, Try to do it on the phone, obviously, and it just took forever to upload. I'm not willing to wait 3 hours out of my day for that bull crap. So, let's get into last week. Um, Brazilian Tree Frogs got the win over the International Pussycats, 367 to 259. Calvertsville Flamers got the win, 354 and a half over the Selma Trash Pandas, 329. Saskatchewan Blue Beavers got a 33-point win over Prestige Worldwide, 363 to 330. Swish Kebabs won by a very slim margin of 4 points over the Cuckolders. That was an interesting finish. And Albuquerque DEA continues their run, 59.5 point win over the Moscow Muskrats. Now let's get into the team of the week. Point guard is SGA of Saskatchewan Blue Beavers, 52 points against the Orlando Magic. Shooting guard of the week, Donovan Mitchell, 62.5 against Brooklyn for the Moscow Muskrats. Incredible game for Donovan there. Tatum, Jason Tatum, small forward of the week, 49.5 against Minnesota for the Albuquerque DEA. Power forward is Sabonis, 62 at Detroit for the Albuquerque DEA. Center of the week, no shocker here, is the Joker, Nikola Jokic, with 53 points against the New Orleans Pelicans for the Cuckolders. Now, last week was last week. This week's going to be very interesting. There's a lot of games this week that have playoff implications. There's two teams 4-8, two teams 5-7, all four fighting for that sixth spot in the playoffs. It's going to be very interesting. Three trades that happened last week. Paul George was sent to Calvertsville in exchange for Andre Drummond, Derek White, 2 second-round picks, and a first that are all headed to Selma. The Cuckolders acquired Devin Vassell and a second-round pick and a first-round pick from Selma in exchange for DeJounte Murray. And lastly, the Brazilian Tree Frogs acquired Damian Lillard, Cole Anthony, 2 seconds in exchange for Tyus Jones, D'Anthony Melton, and 2 firsts. Yeah, that was last week. Let's kind of recap with all of that turning into our rankings, right? So, first in the ranking, no surprise again, Albuquerque DEA. They continue to just win every game. Second in the ranking. Now, I'm actually doing this off the top of my head right now. So I'm not going to lie to you guys. I kind of forgot to do it in the first recording, so we're doing this off the top of my head anyways. Second in the ranking, we are going to go with the Calvertsville Flamers. Now, they are playing just as good a basketball as anybody. They're putting up 350 plus a lot. They're fully loaded and they're ready for the playoffs. Third in the rankings, I have the Swish Kebabs. Now, today is Monday, and the 76ers have already played, and the Swish Kebabs forgot to put them in the lineup, which is no surprise there for anybody who knows Carmichael. But I do have them third. Fourth, I'm going to put the Cuckolders. That's a surprise because they're on like a little losing streak. They're 5-7. But in terms of teams, right, that are just playing good basketball, the Cuckolders are playing good basketball. They're just running into buzzsaws, and that happens sometimes. Next on that list, fifth, we're gonna go with Prestige Worldwide. Put up 330 last week in a loss. That's okay. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. They ran into an absolute buzzsaw in Saskatchewan. Sixth on the ranking, we are actually going to go with the International Pussycats. They still remain sixth. They're still in the playoff hunt very easily, but they are kind of slipping there. Seventh in the ranking. Selma Trash Pandas. 329. Still very much in the playoff hunt. I do think they could easily secure a playoff spot as we move towards the end here. Eighth is Let's go Saskatchewan Blue Beavers. Kind of a surprise team here. They have fully immersed themselves in the playoff talks. Ninth, I'm going to go with the Brazilian Tree Frogs. I know I'm a game behind the Moscow Muskrats. I just think if you put us two up against each other right now, the Brazilian Tree Frogs, the trades I've made, would be the better team. And 10th, we're going to go with the Moscow Muskrats. Yeah, that's kind of it for last week. Get into the betting board of this week, and then I will update you guys on All Stars. Brazilian Tree Frogs, 14.5-point underdogs against Prestige Worldwide, plus 150 on the money line. Prestige is minus 180. Cuckolders in a very tight spread here, plus 4.5 against Cowardsville, who is minus 4.5, minus 120 on the money line. The Cuckolders are plus 100. Next two matchups are 9.5 spread, with Saskatchewan Blue Beavers being the 9.5-point favorites over the Selma Trash Pandas, minus 130 on the money line, plus 120 for Selma. The next game is 9.5 points, and that is the International Pussycats as the 9.5-point underdogs, plus 120, and the Moscow Muskrats as the 9.5-point favorites, minus 130. You've seen a little skid with the Pussycats. The Vegas odds do consider that, and they do think that that will continue to happen. Albuquerque DEA minus 19.5, minus 200 against the Swish Kebabs, plus 19.5, plus 180. Yeah, that's your betting board for the week. No real surprises there, I guess. I did want to hit on real quick. We do have a matchup of Saskatchewan and Selma Trash Pandas that is probably the matchup of the week. That matchup has so much playoff implications. Two teams 4-8, Moscow Muskrats, Saskatchewan Blue Beavers, and then two teams 5-7, the Cuckolders and the Selma Trash Pandas. A lot of playoff implications this week, lot and lot. We have 4 weeks left, yes, but I'm not saying these games are must wins, but they are in that close to that category. All right, let's break down All-Star voting so far. Leading the Pacific Conference off, Anthony Davis and Luka Doncic are tied at 16 votes. They are your leading vote getters for that side. In third place, you do have Domantas Sabonis with 15. Fourth, tied for fourth, Karl Anthony Towns and Trae Young both have 13. Tied for sixth, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Joel Embiid, and Nikola Jokic all have 12. In your 9 spot there is De'Aaron Fox with 11. 10 spot, Victor Wembanyama and Franz Wagner with 9. Shout out to the Caballersville Flamers there. And your 12 spot, this was a tie between Kawhi Leonard and Stephen Curry with 6. The tiebreaker for the last spot, if it does come down to that, will be who averages the most fantasy points. In this case, that is Kawhi Leonard. He averages about 1 more than Steph. So he does get the 12 spot as of now. Atlantic Conference. This one's going to be a little bit of a longer spiel here because there is something I want to hit on. LeBron James is your leading vote getter with 16. Tied for second is SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and Tyrese Halliburton with 15. Tied for fourth is Donovan Mitchell, Kevin Durant, Tyrese Maxey, all with 13. Tied in seventh, Devin Booker and Ja Morant. Ja Morant is the one I want to hit on. Should he receive enough votes, which he is on track to do, to be an all-star starter, he will get the all-star honors. That is something that will be put in his bio. He will be a 2024 DBA All-Star, Atlantic Conference All-Star. But I will hang on. After I get through the 12 people, I will say how we're going to deal with his injury since he's out for the year. In 9th spot is Alperen Sengun, former Brazilian Tree Frog with 11, current International Pussycat. In 10 is another former Brazilian Tree Frog, current Moscow Muskrat, Paolo Banchero, and he is tied with Jalen Brunson with 10 votes. 12th spot, last spot on the team is Lauri Markkanen with 7 votes. Now, Ja Morant's fill-in will be whoever is next, and whoever is next has 6 votes. That is LaMelo Ball. Yeah, that's kind of all I got this week. I do want to hit on one thing. Wyatt kind of asked me earlier in the week, and I wanted to make sure I reiterated to everyone the 3-point contest we talked about. So you're going to take 3 people from each all-star team. Each all-star team has 12 people. You're going to choose 3 for the week of All-Star Week, however many threes they make is a point. So if they make 12 threes, another guy makes 8, another guy makes 11, right? That's 31 points for that team. It'll go up against the other conferences, 3 guys they choose. It is a conference battle, not necessarily an individual team battle. This year, we can decide if we want to change that, but this year it's just going to be 3v3. Conferences are going to win. You will put in those players' bio that they were a 3-point contest participant, or you will put in there that they were a 3-point contest winner. I want to make sure we keep those bios updated as cleanly as possible. That way, as this league continues to grow and as the years continue to pass on, we are fully aware of what players have accomplished what and who can have the best Dynasty Basketball Association careers out of everybody. And eventually, as we get farther and farther down the road, this league continues to go on, we can start maybe a Hall of Fame or something that would be very cool. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Catch you guys next week. I will record it on my computer next week first so I don't waste time, and I will get it uploaded for y'all. We'll catch you next week. Good luck on your matchups this week. Let's go.